Hello, I wanted to talk about how to read and build a few 7 chords on the piano. I'm sure I'll do a couple of other videos just from a different perspective, but here we go. So let's break this down. Normally you have a chord, let's just use C, okay? This is C major. You would just see a capital letter. If you see a capital letter and it has a little lowercase m beside it, maybe it has a line over it, that is minor. You could also see just a minus sign, but I find that less common, maybe in the jazz area. Okay, so how do we play these? Well, C major, we start with C, we play a major third, 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps, and then we play a minor third, 1, 2, 3. You could also think of skipping your letters within the key of C if you know what the key of C is. So C major, and then an easy way to find your C minor chord is just take the third of your C major chord and lower it a half step. So now we have our major chord and our minor chord. If you were just going to play a minor chord on its own, notice that these two notes are the same as your major chord. This is a fifth. But the distance from the root of the chord to the third of the chord, that's the middle part, is 3 half steps now, and now it's 4 half steps to the fifth of the chord. So the distance kind of switches. Regardless, both of these chords are built in thirds. Okay, this is a major third and a minor third, and now it's a minor third and a major third. So we know that our major and minor chords, at least one way to think about them, is that they are built in thirds, some kind of thirds. Now there's, we call these triads, 3-note chords. You can also, there's a couple of other combinations of triads, but we're not going to talk about those right now. To get your 7 chord, you just play another third above. This one is called a major 7 chord, and it would usually look like this. You'd have your capital C, and then it would say M, A, J, 7. That's one way to write it. You could also write it like this. C, and then a triangle, 7, which is kind of cool. I might have even seen just a triangle, but I can't remember. All right, I'm pretty sure I've seen this. This is more common. Again, more like jazz. You're going to see that. Maybe. Okay, what have we got here? Well, we've got C. We've got a major chord. We already know how to build that. And then we have 4 half steps above that. So that's another major third above. We could put that note down here, and it's still a major third. Excuse me. It's still a major 7 chord, not a major third. It's still a major 7 chord. If I was playing this between my hands, one easy way to get to that 7 chord, if you don't want to reach and play all of these notes, is one, just don't worry about the root, let your left hand play it. Or go back to your major chord and drop your root down a half step. And look, I'm playing the 7 of my chord. Just an easy way to voice your chord. Okay, let's talk about some of the other 7 chords. So what about minor? Okay, well, we could add this, and that is a minor major 7 chord. Let's not worry about this one as much. Let's talk about, well, what happens if I have a minor chord with a minor third? Or you could say it's a minor 7th from the bottom. This was a major 7th. This is a minor 7th. This is your minor 7 chord. So we would write that C minor 7, like that. Let's see. Okay, so you want to build this up somewhere else. Let's say we want to play F minor. No, let's do A minor 7. So here's A, C, E. There's your minor chord, and then we need a minor 7 on top. It's 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. Now, if this was a major 7 distance, remember all you do is take the root of your chord and drop it down a half step. But your other chord, you'd go 2 half steps. So here's a minor 7 chord. We could get to that G by just going down here. Okay, let's talk about one other. There's plenty of other chords that we could talk about, 7 chords and otherwise, but let's just talk about 7 chords in this video. Here is a dominant 7 chord. So it's a major chord, major triad, but now instead of a major 7, we have a minor 7. You're gonna find this one a lot. In fact, it doesn't even have a special symbol beside it. It's just gonna be C. These are the same. Let me put a little block around that. These are the same chord. It's just gonna be 7. So if you see a letter 7, you know you're gonna play a major chord, but then you're gonna go 3 half steps up and play a minor 7 from the bottom, or a minor 3rd from that 5th. This is also called a dominant 7. So you could see DOM7, but not usually. This is the most common way to write it. And this happens on the 5th scale degree if you're just playing 7 chords in a scale. So here's our major scale. Here's our triads and our major scale. Just taking the same shape up my scale. Now we're going to do the same with 7 chords. You should try this either with 1 hand or 2 hands. And I'm going to tell you the quality of each chord, what kind of 7 chord it is. Major 7, minor 7, minor 7, major 7, dominant 7. And there's only one of them. So this is very telling as to what key you're in or suggesting. Minor 7 again. A fun one we haven't talked about, a minor 7 flat 5, or a half diminished 7 chord. I guess I'll talk about that one really quick, but I'm not too concerned about this one. Focus on the other 3, major 7, minor 7, dominant 7, or just 7. Okay, let's talk about that other one I threw in there at the last minute. So remember how we have this minor 7 chord? If you just take the 5th and go down a half step, that is a minor 7 flat 5, because the 5 of the chord is flat. We also call this a half diminished 7 chord because it's diminished here. We haven't talked about diminished chords, but this is a diminished chord. 2 minor 3rds on top of each other, but rather than playing another minor 3rd that's fully diminished, we're going up and playing a major 3rd. So it's only half diminished. Okay, most of the cool kids call this minor 7 flat 5, so I just stick with that. But if you're in the classical school, they might call it half diminished 7. Okay, that's plenty of 7 chords to work on. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have a question about how to build chords or some other chord you'd like to see me talk about, then please let me know in the comments, like and subscribe, and until next time.